advised.
Mixing up blood, 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 mixing up
I just can't tell you how proud we are every American. This has to be the proudest day of our lives. And for people all over the world, I am sure that they too join with Americans in recognizing what an immense feat this is. Because of what you have done, the heavens have become a part of man's work. And the dream of to see it come forth. It inspires us to double our efforts to bring peace and tranquility to earth. For one Christ we pray, the whole human man, and the people and the earth, running a pride of your
mixing up blood, 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 mixing up
Paula in Houston, 2 minutes at LOS. Everybody here says Godspeed. Okay, we'll see you around on the other side of the orbit. Roger, 762255.
Mixing up.
Godspeed.
Mixing up.
Godspeed.
Mixing up.
Godspeed. Godspeed. Godspeed.
Mixing up. Mixing up. Mixing up.
Be around on the other side of that door. Roger, 762255.
Mixing up.
Be around on the other side of that door. Be around on the other side of that door. Be around on the other side of that door.
Mixing up. Mixing up. Mixing up.
Greg Lantern here. That was the Maximum Dance remix by Northwoods. Space Drug Nixon. You're listening to Quote Unquote.
How did all of this trouble begin?
Living in America. There's nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong at all. You're not in any difficulty, but you're out on bond.
No, I'm not.
Have all the charges been dropped?
Yeah, I'm out on love.
Well, are you out on love or out of love? Which is it?
Out on love. Alone from night to night, you find me.
Now, James, this isn't the first time you and your wife have had a problem. Are the two of you going to be able to work this out?
Let's talk about some music.
You want to talk about music and you don't want to talk about what happened?
No, it's all over.
Well, let's talk about your tour. When are you leaving?
We're leaving tomorrow.
And where are you going?
Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo.
Ben je gekomen? Ben je gekomen met de trein?
Ik kom eigenlijk uit de hardrockwereld, laat ik het zo zeggen. Ik ben overgestapt, ja.
Brussels. Wanneer ben je overgestapt?
Vorig jaar.
Wat ga je nog doen vandaag? Wat ga je nog doen? Flink aan mijn pan zijn.
Fitness 5 keer in de week, ja.
En Pilates ook?
Wat zegt u?
Doe je ook Pilates?
Pilates? Wat is Pilates?
Doe je ook aan rondjes lopen? Rondjes lopen? Ja, af en toe, maar Milde is lekker stamp toch, weet je wel. Snap je? Ja, toch?
Yeah, some sort of. Oh, probably wouldn't be called motorhead because that's slang for speed freak.
When you started Motorhead, how was afterwards?
Well, because of the wrong kind of drugs.
Yeah.
They were all taking drugs too. It was just different drugs, you know.
So why was it so bad?
Well, no, I was the last speed freak. See, I was the one that kept them all awake nights, you know, and shit like that. So they were all like dedicated dope smokers and taking acid now, and you know, all that. And I was taking acid too, but I was a speed freak as well, you know. And Dick Mick was the speed freak. He got me into the band so he could have somebody to chum out with, you know. And then he left, and I was the only one left. So they were dying to get rid of me, really, ever since he left, you know.
I used to carry a gram of cocaine in my boot at all times. And it was the first thing I thought of when I woke up in the morning, and the last thing I thought of before I went to bed.
I just went upstairs to see this man Lacerda. We know what you're up to. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just the photographer. Just remember Savage Henry. Savage Henry. Now listen, man. I'm just the photographer. Well, I did it. Free. What about our room and the golf shoes? We're right in the middle of a fucking reptile zoo. Somebody's giving proof to these goddamn things. It won't be long before they tear us to shreds. Jesus, look at the floor! I've never seen so much blood! How many of they killed already? Holy shit! Look at that Benjamin X fire! 4 club sandwiches? Yeah. 4 club sandwiches. 4 shrimp cocktails, a quart of rum, and 9 fresh, very large grapefruits. Let me see what we all can get. Okay, yeah. By this time, the drink will be beginning to cut the ass.
Thank you for joining us. As mentioned, you've covered so many different topics. I've been seeing some of your articles, psychoactive plant medicines, Today we're talking about marijuana, and you've really hit on one issue that has had a little bit of press, but in my opinion not quite enough. With the legalization of marijuana, obviously there needs to be some kind of a test to reveal when drivers are too intoxicated to be safe on the road. First of all, why were you interested in this topic? How did this topic come about for you?
Well, I've done a lot of writing on marijuana in general, and I thought this was important because it's kind of this area where there's a lot of support behind marijuana right now, but no one really thinks that you should just be getting really high and getting on the road, and that there's going to be no consequences for that. So there's kind of people on each side of it, people who are pro-marijuana but a little cautious about how to approach that, and then there are people on the other side who say this is very dangerous and we need to get this done right away. So
there are actually a lot of people out there who say that it's quite safe to drive when you're stoned. Do you know anything about the stats with regards to driving and having accidents when you're sober, when you're drunk, when you might be under the influence of marijuana?
There was a report released by, I think it's the National Highway Traffic Safety Association, and they said apparently driving high is a little bit safer than driving drunk, but obviously you should try to drive sober. But so yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like it's not as bad as driving drunk.
But I imagine reaction times at the very least for someone else's mistake would be slowed down on marijuana. Currently the tests for THC involve taking blood. Can you highlight some of the problems with the blood test for marijuana?
Well, when you do a blood test, it's just measuring what's kind of in your system in general, and since marijuana is fat soluble, it can stay in your system for a long time. So let's say you get 5 nanograms of THC per milliliter in the blood. In someone who smokes regularly, that might mean they smoked yesterday, and that's the limit in Washington State, where they say 5 nanograms means you're intoxicated. That doesn't necessarily mean
Okay, and so the breathalyzer presumably is something that will hopefully produce a more reliable result. How can the breathalyzer be any better when you're talking about things like edibles, which presumably don't get into your lungs? Is the breathalyzer test really that much more reliable?
Well, with the breathalyzer, they've only been, from what I've heard, they've only been able to test it for if you've smoked recently. With the edibles, it's a little bit hard to know if that's going to work. In terms of it being in your system, with the breathalyzer, they can pretty much, as far as I know, they can tell that you smoked recently, but they can't really tell if you're intoxicated, and they're trying to figure that out.
Right, and presumably when you eat an edible, it takes quite a while. I think it's like maybe an hour even for some people. And I was also reading from your article that it affects different people differently according to what experience they've had with marijuana. So what do you think about the reliability of the breathalyzer test from your research?
I think maybe it could be a good tool for identifying if someone smoked recently, and then you could maybe use physical signs or odor if they just smoked right when you pulled them over. But in terms of identifying exactly which level they're at in intoxication, I don't know if it's at the point where we can trust it that way.
You might catch yourself sliding in and out of it. Catch yourself sliding in and out of it. Just relax and enjoy. Just relax and enjoy.
This is an experiment in mind formation. Information. Forming, controlling, operating your mind and your brain. Using digital techniques to overload, scramble, confuse, unfocus your mind. State of the brain is chaos. We're dealing with a complexity of information. The first thing to do is to ground your focus on.
Hello?
My fellow Americans, I'm pleased to tell you today that I've signed